I'm Nicolene Peck, author of Parenting a House United and owner of TeachingSelfGovernment.com. Teaching Self-Government is a parenting philosophy that teaches parents and children how to govern themselves so that they take ownership over their own hearts, thoughts, and behavior. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to raise happy, healthy, self-confident children. One of the biggest things that we can do to help our youth be happy, healthy, and self-confident is teach them that their choices belong to them. They get to make the choice to be calm, to be happy, to be confident. They get to make the choice to step out of their comfort zone and do brave things. I want to talk about happiness especially. I know that choices have a power and that power is real. Let me tell you how I know. When I was 14 years old, my life transformed. There were so many different experiences I had that year that changed me into the self-government guru that people say I am today. One of those changes happened because of the vice principal at my middle school. My vice principal and I were friends. I was in student government that year, and so we knew each other pretty well. So we would talk to each other regularly in the hallway. Well, one day I was walking down the hall, and here came my vice principal, Mr. Naylor. And so Mr. Naylor said to me, "Hi, Nicolene, how are you?" And I said, "I'm pretty good." And I kept walking by. And I said, "How are you, Mr. Naylor?" And he said, "I'm happy, thank you." And he walked by. I kind of stopped, and I looked. "I'm happy, thank you." Who says that, I thought. I couldn't get the thought out of my head. That one interaction had somehow changed me. Now I gotta tell you about Mr. Naylor. Mr. Naylor was a World War II veteran. He had some combat that he fought. He had some stories to tell. He was a wise person, a calm person, a steady person. One of those people you always felt like you could trust and that he was your friend. So I went to talk to him about this topic. He probably thought, boy, this is the most deliberate little girl I've ever met. Because I just walked into his office and I said, "Mr. Naylor, can I talk to you about a question?" He said, "Sure." And I said, "This morning we were passing each other in the hall, and you said to me, 'How are you doing, Nicolene?' And I said, 'I'm fine, thank you,' because that's what people say. But when I asked you how you were doing, you said, 'I'm happy, thank you.' Why did you say that?" And he said, "Because I was happy." And I said, "Yeah, but Mr. Naylor, surely you're not happy all the time. Surely there are some times where things are bad or you don't feel very good. And you can't just say, 'I'm happy, thank you.'" And he looked at me and said, "Why would I choose to be any other way?" Oh, blew my mind. Why would you choose to be any other way? Truth smacked me on the head. And he said, "It's true, Nicolene, some days aren't the best days. But when somebody asks me, 'How are you doing?' and I say, 'I'm happy, thank you,' then I think to myself, yeah, why wouldn't I choose to be happy? I am going to choose to be happy." He gave himself a trigger every time someone asks him how he's doing. He chooses happiness. Did you know happiness is a choice? I think a lot of people think happiness comes from outside circumstances. Maybe it comes from other people doing things for you, getting you a special gift or telling you that they like you or love you, or maybe you get a good grade on a test. That's not where happiness comes from. Happiness comes from that place inside where you decide it's okay. No matter what, right now, I can choose to be okay. So choice, that is the first thing that we've got to teach our children. They have a choice to be happy or not to be happy. And guess who sets the example for that choice? We do. I have a goal with my children that I want them to be emotionally strong. So I want them to know that they have the power to make their lives good, that they don't have to take things personally and be the victim of the things that are happening around them. What does emotional strength really look like? It looks like a person being able to say, well, that person, they did something I don't like, but that's okay. And now I'm not going to think about it anymore. That person said something that bothered me, but they have a right to choose to say that. So I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. And I'm going to drop the subject. Emotionally strong people make plans for themselves and they follow through with their plans. In our family, we teach our children 4 skills: how to follow instructions, accept no answers, accept consequences, and disagree appropriately. These 4 skills help them plan for emotional strength. Talk to your children about what is emotional strength and what does emotional bondage look like, because emotional bondage is the opposite of emotional strength. When a person is in emotional bondage, then they feel like every time they feel an emotion, they have to act on it. They have to, otherwise they'll explode. Otherwise somebody won't know something. They get controlled by their emotions. That doesn't mean there's no point to emotions and that we shouldn't talk to people about what they're feeling. We should. But I think it's important for us to empower our children to understand they can choose to be emotionally strong. They can choose to let things go. In order for children to be confident, they have to know how to work. They've got to have a really great work ethic. Parents train that by working with their children regularly. In our family, we do hours and hours of work a day. And it's not because I'm a taskmaster, but it's because my children need to be part of our family functioning on a regular basis. So they wake up, they do their regular morning things, their chores that they need to do, and then we will sometimes, especially in the spring and summer and fall months, we will go out to our yard, which has a lot of crops growing on it, and we will work for a couple of hours. They know that every day involves working hard in some way or another, and oftentimes it means outside. And they know you want to get up early to make that happen because it's definitely cooler and better on the skin so you don't get a sunburn. When I was on the BBC program, The World's Strictest Parents, there were 2 youth that came to our home, James and Hannah. Love them. If you guys see this, love you. Anyway, if you haven't seen that program, you can click the link in the corner here to The World's Strictest Parents, and it will take you to that program. Well, James had not really had the opportunity to do a lot of work, even though he was 17 years old. When he was at our home, he earned an extra chore for a negative consequence to clean a bathroom. And he said to my husband, "Spencer, may I disagree appropriately?" Because that's one of the 4 basic skills, and we had taught it to him. Spencer said yes, because we always say yes if someone asks to disagree appropriately. And he said, "I know that you want me to clean the bathroom and that that's what I earned for my extra chore, but I've never cleaned a bathroom before." And Spencer said, "Oh, okay, well, I'll show you." So he went to one of the bathrooms in our home and he cleaned it, showing James step by step how to do it. Then they went to the bathroom that James was supposed to clean. And Spencer stood there and talked him step by step through it. And James cleaned that bathroom. A little while later, I walked by the bathroom and there was James just getting done. And he said, "Nicolene, come here, come here." And so I said, okay, well, he's excited. And I went to the bathroom and he said, "Look at this. Look what I did." Well, that's an invitation to praise right there. So I looked around and I said, "Oh, James, that's so sparkly and shiny. You did such a good job paying attention to detail. You folded the towels just right. I see you cleaned the toilet inside and out. You have done a great job at cleaning this bathroom." And he said, "I know. When I go home, I'm going to clean our bathroom. My mom is going to die." Do you know what I was seeing in that young man? Happiness and confidence. He learned a skill. Did you know that when they learn how to dig a trench, when they learn how to paint a fence, when they learn how to remodel your house, when they learn how to clean a bathroom or cook a meal, do you know that that just puts them up 1 notch taller? They may be afraid of it at first. They may not want to do the work because they're feeling lazy, but after they're done, they get something. It's a positive consequence. This feeling of, I did it. I conquered. Maybe I will be okay when I'm an adult on my own. Isn't that what our goal is for all of this? Happy, healthy, self-confident children? Don't we want them to become happy, healthy, self-confident adults? Well, that's what I want for my children. In fact, I've told myself all the way along, even when I was raising foster children, I told myself, these children won't be perfect. They're going to make mistakes every day, but that's okay because I'm not raising perfect children. That's not my goal. I'm raising joyful adults who know what their mission in life is and can't wait to fight for it and have solid relationships with God and family. That I can give them. I can raise those people, but that means they're going to make mistakes every day and I've got to be okay with it. I've got to correct them. I've got to teach them the lessons and skills they need. I've got to help their character develop. I've got to give them the work they need to do, even if I could do it better myself, just so they develop that confidence that they need to know that they can be that adult one day. Do your children have the bigger picture? Do they know where they're going? Can they control themselves? If your children can do a task, then your children can also control their own emotions and hearts. They can choose to be happy and to be calm. Calmness is one of the key lessons we learn at our house. How to communicate calmly so that everybody can have open communication and be understood. If your family would like more help with calmness, I have a free course that you can have. If you go to the description below this video, you can click Calm Parenting Toolkit. I'm giving it to you. It's free and it's really good. It won't take you too long to do, but long enough that you're going to get a lot out of it. I hope you'll take advantage of that free gift, because if our world has more calmness in the parents, our children will be able to learn calmness too. And that calmness helps create happy, healthy, self-confident children that truly can become what our selfish, lazy world needs.